Hi students and friends. Welcome to the channel Learn and Teach by Sir Ayaz. In this video lesson, I'm going to start the new topic which is about food chains and food webs. The book I am following is International Lower Secondary Science, Book 3 by Marshall Cavendish Education. I have selected some learning outcomes from this topic, which are randomly arranged. To recognize that the arrows in a food chain represent energy transfer, to trace the energy pathway from the sun through living things, and identify the roles of various organism producers, consumers, predators, prey in a food chain and a food web. To recognize that all the organisms in a habitat can be linked together in food webs. To predict how changing the size of one population in a food web will affect the numbers of other species. To recognize that plants benefit from waste products and the decay of organisms. I will start with the definition of food chain. What is food chain? It's the sequence of transfers of matter and energy in the form of food from organism to organism. You can also define it in a more simpler way, that is, it is a series of organisms through which energy is transferred in the form of food. Here's an example of food chain. If you look at this food chain, this is food chain. It's starting from producer. Grass is producer here. Producers are substances which makes their own food. And this grass is eaten by first consumer in this food chain, which is grasshopper. Then grasshopper is eaten by bluebird, which in turn is eaten by snake, and snake is then eaten by owl. You see, all these four organisms in this food chain are consumers. Some of these consumers are herbivore. For example, grasshopper is herbivore. Herbivore are organisms that feed on plants. Feed on plants only. Bluebird, snake, and owl are examples of carnivore. All these three are carnivores. The reason is that they feed on other organisms or meat eaters that feed on other animals. Don't write organisms, because grass is also included in organisms and it is not an animal. Meaning of different terms used for organisms in a food chain. Producer. Organisms which make their own food are known as producers. Example, plants like acacia tree, grass, etc. Consumers. Consumers are organisms which feed on other organisms. For example, sparrow, frog, snake, etc. Predators. Organisms which hunt on other organisms for food. For example, lion, tiger, anaconda, etc. Prey. Prey is an organism which is hunted and killed by other organisms like carnivores for food. For example, deer, zebra, wildebeest, etc. Scavengers, organisms which feed on dead animals or carcass. For example, hyena, vultures, etc. These feed on dead animals or carcass. This is the video of grasshopper and grass. This is the video of chameleon feeding on or hunting on prey. This is a chameleon hunting and killing its prey, which is some kind of insect here. This is bird hunting fish. Both chameleon and this bird are examples of predators. This is a hyena, which is an example of scavengers. I've just told you that scavengers are organisms that feed on dead animals. Coming back to the food chain, this is food chain. In this food chain, grass is a producer, which means that food chain starts from the producer. The producer gets 100% energy from the sun. Sun is the only source of energy for this producer. This is sun, and it's getting 100% energy. So this energy is used to carry out different activities. Energy used for development, and carrying out different metabolic activities. Which means some amount of energy is lost at this stage. Now this grass is eaten by grasshopper. So grasshopper will get the less energy than the amount of energy received by grass. And then this grasshopper is eaten by other consumers. Bluebird is eaten by snake, then snake is eaten by owl. In each stage, there is a decrease of energy. So in a food chain, energy get transferred, and these arrows represent the flow of energy. Arrow represents the flow of energy. Each organism in the food chain is known as link. There will be five links in this food chain. Grass, number one. Grasshopper, number two. Bluebird, number three. Snake, number four. Owl, five. Number five. So there will be five links in this food chain. Now let's talk about food web. What is food web? It's a complex network of interconnecting and overlapping food chains showing feeding relationships within a community. You see, different organisms living in a same habitat makes up a community. So the food web shows a relationship between different organisms. You can also define food web in this way. It's a network of interconnected food chains. This will be more easy definition for you people. This is not a food chain. This is interconnecting food chains. I've just told you that food web is interconnected food chain. So this is food web. You can write on top food web. Because it contains interconnecting food chains. ये आप देख सकते हैं कि इंटरकनेक्टिंग फूड चेन्स जो है वो फूड वेब बना रही है. मिसाल के तौर पर अगर मैं स्टार्ट करता हूं कैरेट से. कैरेट जो है प्रोड्यूसर है यहाँ पे, और कैरेट को जो पहला कंज्यूमर खा रहा है वो है रैबिट. देन रैबिट इज ईटन बाय फॉक्स. ये एक फूड चेन बन गई. इसी तरह एक और फूड चेन आप बनाना चाहें तो ये भी बन सकती है. ग्रास जो कि प्रोड्यूसर है यहाँ पर, कैरेट्स, ग्रास और ग्रेन्स, ये तीनों के तीनों प्रोड्यूसर्स हैं यहाँ पर. तो ग्रास को खा रहा है रैबिट और फिर रैबिट को फॉक्स खा रहा है. दूसरी फूड चेन हो गई. तीसरी फूड चेन हो सकती है ग्रेन्स. ग्रेन्स को खा रहा है माइस और माइस को खा रहा है आउल. ये हो गया आपकी तीसरी फूड चेन. चौथी फूड चेन, ग्रेन्स ईटन बाय ग्रास हॉपर्स और फिर ग्रास हॉपर को खा रहा है आउल, या फिर ग्रास हॉपर को बर्ड्स खा रही हैं. ये होगी आपकी चौथी और पांचवी फूड चेन हो गई. इसी तरह पांचवी फूड चेन जो है आपकी ग्रेन्स, ग्रेन्स को बर्ड्स खा रही हैं और बर्ड्स को फॉक्सेस खा रहे हैं. अगर मैं आपसे कहता हूं यहाँ पर फ्लो ऑफ एनर्जी कितना है, ईच एरो इज रिप्रेजेंटिंग फ्लो ऑफ एनर्जी. ईच एरो रिप्रेजेंट्स फ्लो ऑफ एनर्जी, और हर एरो के बाद जो है अमाउंट ऑफ एनर्जी वो डिक्रीज हो रही है. तो ईच ऑर्गेनिज्म यहाँ पे लिंक शो कर रहा है. तो यहाँ पे आप काउंट कर लीजिए कितने लिंक हैं. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. 9 लिंक्स है यहाँ पर. Change in population of one species in a food web will affect the population or number of other species. ये जो हमने affect की बात की है, इसका मतलब ये है increase और decrease. Increase और decrease. मिसाल के तौर पर अगर if there will be more or higher number of producers. Higher number of producers. The population of प्राइमरी कंज्यूमर जो होता है वो पहला कंज्यूमर होता है. प्राइमरी कंज्यूमर या प्राइमरी कंज्यूमर्स भी कह सकते हैं आप, विल बी हाई. ऑल्दो द नंबर ऑफ कंज्यूमर्स जो है वो कम हो जाएगी, लेकिन ये डिपेंड कर रही है, आपके पास प्रोड्यूसर ज्यादा है तो पॉपुलेशन ऑफ प्राइमरी कंज्यूमर्स भी ज्यादा होगी, वो ज्यादा पनपेंगे, ज्यादा फूलेंगे, ज्यादा पॉपुलेशन होगी. और प्राइमरी कंज्यूमर्स को जो फीड कर रहे होंगे उनकी पॉपुलेशन भी बढ़ेगी. एक कंज्यूमर पे 2 या 3 सेकेंडरी कंज्यूमर डिपेंड कर रहे हैं, उनकी पॉपुलेशन बढ़ेगी. अगर पॉपुलेशन ऑफ प्रोड्यूसर कम है तो कंज्यूमर की पॉपुलेशन डेफिनेटली कम हो जाएगी. A decrease in the population of producers will also decrease the population of consumers. अब यहां पर आप देख सकते हैं ये 3 आपके पास प्रोड्यूसर्स हैं. All these are producers. किसी एक की पॉपुलेशन डिक्रीज होगी, it will definitely decrease the population of other consumers in this food web. It's not a food chain. It is interconnecting food chains, which is known as food web. ठीक है. इसी तरह पॉपुलेशन है कंज्यूमर्स की, लाइक रैबिट है, माइस है, ग्रासहॉपर्स है, बर्ड्स है, इनकी पॉपुलेशन अगर इफेक्ट होती है, so this will also affect the population of foxes and owls in that area or in that region. Last but not least, what are decomposers? Decomposers are microorganisms, usually bacteria or fungi. Bacteria or fungi, which breaks down dead and waste matter into simpler substances. जो भी आपके पास dead organisms हैं या उनका वेस्ट मैटर है, उसको सिंप्लीफाई कर देते हैं, ब्रेक डाउन कर देते हैं बैक्टीरिया और फंजाई, वो कहलाते हैं डीकम्पोजर्स. डीकम्पोजर्स प्ले अ क्रिटिकल रोल इन द फ्लो ऑफ एनर्जी थ्रू एन इकोसिस्टम. ये समझ लीजिए आप, क्रिटिकल रोल जो है यहाँ पर, ये डिमांडिंग रोल है एक्चुअली. हियर द रोल of decomposers is demanding. डिमांडिंग समझ लीजिए या नीड समझ लीजिए, पूरे इकोसिस्टम की एक नीड है कि डिकम्पोजर्स के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, दे हैव टू ब्रेक डाउन द डेड ऑर्गेनिजम्स in order to flow the energy through an ecosystem. How? They break apart dead organisms into simpler inorganic materials. Now, these inorganic materials, which are actually nutrients for primary producers. So, decomposers recycle the nutrients. आप एनर्जी भी लिख सकते हैं, रिसाइकल न्यूट्रिएंट्स एंड एनर्जी इन द ecosystem, which means that decomposers are very important. You see here, these are mushrooms, or mushrooms are kind of fungi. Kind of fungi. They are decomposers. They decompose, break down the dead organisms of waste matter and recycle the nutrients in the ecosystem. In this way, they are providing nutrients to the producers. Beside getting energy from the sun, the producers also get nutrients from the soil, which is coming through or via decomposers. If you look at this food chain carefully, it's starting from producer, grass, which is eaten by grasshopper, primary consumer. This is primary consumer, also herbivore. Herbivore. And this grasshopper is eaten by secondary consumer, which is bluebird. Then this secondary consumer is eaten by snake, which is tertiary consumer. Then snake is eaten by owl, which is a quaternary consumer here, or you can even call it apex. Owl, snake, and bluebird, all these three are predators. All these three are predators because they hunt, kill the prey for their food. And then whenever all these die, including grass, the mushrooms, a kind of fungi, will break down or simplify these dead bodies and their waste matters into nutrients, and that those nutrients will be provided to the producers. Thanks for watching. Press like, comment, and share my videos. For more videos, subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon.